weapon. So for the Incarnons, they're quite straightforward in here. So we've got base Incarnon form. You've got Storm Burst, which is multi-strike against hitting electrical status to enemies. You can do this via either running like Shock Trooper on Volt would be kind of a cool way of doing this, or you can do it on just a companion that provides electricity. You've got Extended Volley, magazine capacity increase, does nothing for Incarnon form but is really good quality of life for the base form of this weapon to help you get into Incarnon mode, although this does get into Incarnon mode very quickly anyway. And then we've got Elemental Balance, which is a huge status chance increase, which makes this weapon insane at just forcing huge amounts of heat onto the target. With regards to the build itself, it's fairly straightforward here. You're just scaling heat and then multi-shot, crit damage, and again just more multi-shot. We've got Expel Grenier in here. This is a faction damage modifier. It's exceptionally good with this weapon. Burn damage is huge and its scale is crazy on this gun. This should be a primed version. I don't have it. Waiting for it to reappear on the market. But it would essentially add 20% multiplier to the end of the calculation on this, so huge. This build works exceptionally well with Raw, because Raw, if you didn't know, works or adds 2 faction damage modifiers. And then you've got Scorch and Lethal Torrent on here. Lethal Torrent's more essential than Scorch, so if you were to get a Ribbon, this is the thing you replace. You would just go for heat damage, you would go for multi-shot, and you would go for crit damage as your choice of Ribbon. That would be the kind of strongest combo you can get on it. Technically fire rate is better than one of those mods, but fire rate means you'll just drain your Incarnon bar faster, which is probably not worth it, honestly, in this build. Running Cascadia Flare, stacking damage, it stacks this insanely fast because it's a pure heat weapon, so you'll apply millions of burns and get this stacked up really fast. Then the other option for this is Encumber, which I don't have, but basically because it applies statuses so fast with this weapon, you can essentially apply every status in the game with this. You don't get base damage from Encumber, but with all of the debuffs in the game applied, it's probably as strong as our base damage mod. The other thing to keep in mind is that if you do have green Archon shards, you don't build this weapon for corrosive. If you had green Archon shards, you could go Encumber to full armor strip if you weren't playing a frame that has the ability to either provide corrosive or do a full armor strip on its own. But I will show that a couple of options on how to achieve that if you want to use this weapon and min-max who to use it on. So as you'll notice as well, don't have viral. This the build I'm using at the minute is purely going to showcase kind of how this weapon works. Firstly, with without any effects other than just what the weapon does baseline on its own. And we'll showcase that first here. Okay, so my mob has decided to attack it. You can see there is electric stacks on it because I am running a companion with electric for the sake of this weapon. And this is how this weapon performs with nothing on it. There are very few weapons in the game that will do this without any stripping, any viral, nothing amplifying our damage. This is just the base damage of this gun and what it does. As I say, very few weapons in the game that are that powerful just with nothing buffing it. And then, so to just showcase what armor strip does to this weapon, we will again, we'll just walk over here, we'll just take off that guy's armor, and I'm going to use Zaku's 3. Zaku's 3 is an armor strip at an area when you use it on this version of it. So these now have no armor, and one tap of them will kill them. Some of these burns are 2 million or so. As you can see, I don't even have, they don't have enough life for me to really showcase how much damage this weapon can actually do properly. So if I do that again, just killing all of these before they even get a chance to burn at the minute. So you can see how just much ridiculous damage this weapon can do. You can see how fast it stacks the burns. You see shooting this immortal target, you can see the burns going up there. Yeah, it's just an absolute crazy amount of damage from a weapon with literally no investment on this. So yeah, I've not even got missing primed mods and missing riven everything on this, and that was with armor strip. So the frame that this is just obscenely good with, in my opinion, is Saren. So I will do a full build on this, but just for the sake of very quickly covering it, Venom Dose here allows Saren's Spore to apply corrosive. Her default, she casts it, it infects the target and they spread, but we're not caring about that. We don't care about range to spread spores. I'm using this purely as a buff because Venom Dose, when I hold it, allows my weapon to apply corrosive. Don't really care about how much extra damage it's doing, it's really just about applying corrosive. We also have Nourish, so that allows us to do a similar thing but with viral, and then we have Toxic Lash, that means that we just get a flat amount of extra toxin damage to the gun. So when you combine all of that, we've got heat, we've got toxin, we've got corrosive, and we've got viral through the weapon and the frame. And essentially at that point, if I had green shards on my Saren, which I don't at the minute, they're currently on my Harrow, with this weapon we could full armor strip, apply toxin that is a secondary dot to the heat, so we've got two just stacking dots on the target, and then we also have corrosive and viral stacks to amplify damage, so they'd have no armor and we do additional damage to their health via burn. So you can see here, like, just a shot kills everything, just through the dots that we're applying, toxin and fire, just absolutely wrecking everything here. If we can remove that without killing it, you can just see how crazy this is. The damage scale is infinitely higher the second you take that last bit of armor off as well, but it's just some really just outrageous damage when combined onto Saren. Saren is ridiculously good with lots of weapons because of the fact that she can apply two of the most important statuses in the game, being corrosion and viral, on her own without needing to mod the weapon. It allows you to change lots of weapons and the way they work, but because this is a weapon that's so strong just by being built innate heat anyway, it just really just scales off to the moon with Saren. But as you saw in Zaku, this is a weapon that's very, very highly effective on anyone, and especially anyone that can armor strip. So Zaku being able to armor strip makes him a really good candidate for this weapon. Also, Zaku's guns themselves deal really well with like just random mobs, so having this charged up in Incarnon and letting his weapons do a lot of the work that you steal with his abilities, killing like easy to kill targets, and then him just able to use this weapon to unload onto harder to kill targets, makes it a really good synergistic pick with Zaku. Everything will be armor stripped in the area you're fighting with his ability anyway. And my final bit is this self-healing build I have here works exceptionally well, because by the time Molten Augmented is stacked up and you're getting the benefits from Archon Intensify, healing yourself from Cunning Drift with his guns, from the Grasp of Lock, you end up at enough power strength to fully armor strip once this is stacked. That means you fully armor strip, his guns kill everything, and you're also able to fit Nourish on the build, so he is applying viral, they've got no armor, they've got viral stacks, and then you apply the massive heat damage from this gun and everything dies. So yeah, really nice build to play with Zaku. Generally one of my go-to weapons for him, and yeah, just overall very, very strong.